normally presidents are busy presidenting, and they're not trying to get a lot of money for themselves during their time in office. But President Trump is going down the road of this crypto self-enrichment, with many experts saying it is an open door for corruption. Now, I want to show you a trifecta. J.D. Vance, along with Trump's adult sons, family members, going to a major crypto conference in Las Vegas. So this is their priority, whether that is policy, business self-enrichment, or a conflict mix of the two, is one of the big questions tonight. Now, experts, lawmakers, Trump himself have warned that while crypto may serve some purposes for some people, it is a high-risk gamble, definitely a way that you could lose money. So if you don't have a lot of money to lose, be careful. All of those kind of warnings we heard before Donald Trump found these donors, what some call the Trump Crypto Alliance. That's a mouthful there, but I'm quoting the Wall Street Journal headline. This week, his family's media company, right, which said they wanted to do Truth Social and that stuff, now has found, with the power of the presidency, they're changing gears. They want to bring in over $2 billion in Bitcoin, while Trump oversees a government that's supposed to regulate it. So that's where the self-enrichment comes from. Regulating, profiting, and then cheerleading what everyone understands to be a new and potentially costly, dangerous techno situation. Here was J.D. Vance.
I'm here today to say loud and clear, with President Trump, crypto finally has a champion and an ally in the White House. Maybe the most important thing that we did for this community, we reject regulators, but it's been quite a while since I've been to a conference with this level of energy. But I promise I'm not just saying that to juice my own meme coins.
That's classic J.D. Vance, a sentence offered straight up, but supposed to be a joke. But here the point isn't any comedy review. The punchline of that joke that he's not profiting off meme coins actually, and maybe he didn't think it all the way through, would seem to inadvertently criticize his boss, Donald Trump, their family, and Elon Musk, the sometimes White House advisor. Now, the Trump administration is already kneecapping the efforts to enforce blatant fraud and crime in crypto, and they've disbarred the criminal DOJ unit that deals with that. They want to change regulations surrounding crypto to bring it further into mainstream finance. And the Journal is reporting on that as a policy issue. And if there wasn't so much self-enrichment going on, you could just have that debate. Is this good or bad? Is this a bubble? Is it risky? But when you have billions of Bitcoin coming into Trump's company and many, many donors giving meme coin donations to Trump, we have a bigger problem here. One leading crypto company says it will be a sponsor of the committee organizing Trump's military parade this summer, another way that they're funneling the money in. Call that supersizing the swamp, if you want. Then there was that dinner last week, which was separate from Bitcoin, which I just mentioned, one of the major cryptocurrencies. This was the dinner where Trump isn't just buying other people's crypto and maybe benefiting off what he knows could happen in the regulations he controls. This was directly foreign money coming into the Trump coin. Here were Trump's sons today.
Hey guys, we're bringing Bitcoin to America, and America is going to win the crypto revolution. And we have a president who loves this industry and is behind this industry 100%. Hey guys, I'm telling you, we as a family could not be more excited about this.
It's amazing. I know my father made a lot of promises to the crypto community. You understand you're really on the precipice of something special, and that includes all those who've been in this from our standpoint in the private sector. I mean, between Eric, myself, I think we can show our true level of commitment.
There's a level of commitment to making money. There's not a long-term sort of crypto plan here. The sons clearly got engaged, got their father warmer to it. But is it government graft? Would you be having this level of interest if they weren't double-dipping with the control over crypto regulations? Someone else who's big in this space, who of course has his own money to begin with, is Elon Musk. This I've showed you from the very beginning of the administration. And while I would admit, personal opinion, it's kind of cute. Who doesn't love a cartoon dog in a suit? This is one of the joke meme mascots for the very real money that Musk has been able to use, combining his influence and power into this so-called Dogecoin. If the word Doge is familiar, remember, long before Trump was calling his government efforts that, He was promoting the word Doge to make his own money off of this coin. The value then soared when Trump announced Musk would join the administration and that they would have a Dogecoin department called Doge. This is not normal, and it is an example of the blatant way that they're using promotion and government power to enrich themselves. Now, that brings us back to government efforts by Elon Musk. If you follow the news, you might have noticed we've heard a lot less from him lately. Major backlash, including in red states, to what Musk was actually doing as people learned about it. And he is saying, this is interesting, well, he's got the memo that he's heard some of the feedback. Indeed, he's now playing the victim, saying his group became the whipping boy for everything. Something bad would happen anywhere. We would get blamed for it, even if we had nothing to do with it. Now, put aside whether he sounds like someone who doesn't like being criticized. Put aside whether you think that's a fair assessment, and just note that Elon Musk is aware that what he was doing was unpopular. That's step one in a democracy. And if it's unpopular enough and it's major change and he didn't ever win an election in the first place, it's a reminder that while the pushback may have taken some time, it appears to have worked. He got the message. He's been demoted. You're not seeing him at the cabinet meetings this week. What comes next, we don't know. But interestingly, he's also still using his perch, where he's asked more about political questions, say, than the average CEO, to take a shot at the GOP budget that Trump is backing.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
A simple way to put it, but it's kind of a fair point. He's referencing the way Trump talks, but when you say big, it's costly. And it's costly in a way that is hypocritical to what Republicans claimed. Keep in mind, all that talk about a balanced budget or interest payments trumps $4 trillion deficit bomb. That's $4 trillion deficit dollars. Hard to even get your mind around what that means, $4 trillion. But I want to quote one way you can compare it. This is from a budget expert who worked in the Obama White House. In the current fiscal year, government would spend more on interest payments for what is now this growing deficit than on defense. That's all of our military spending. Or than on Medicaid or Medicare.